When we start to understand the different pieces, the components of this story we've crafted, all the environments, the characters, the plots and subplots, we can start rewriting it. And rewriting it in a way that propels us forward to our innate potential, to our true selves, to our dreams, instead of living out of fear, out of survival. And one way that we can do this, one way that you're probably familiar with, whether you realize it or not, is the hero's journey. Think of Luke Skywalker, Spider-Man, or even the person who had a health scare but came out the other side a totally different person. That's the hero's journey, which at its core is one of transformation. And you'll hear it described in a lot of different ways, but generally speaking, it starts with you, the unknowing hero, living a normal life. From there, there is some event, some pull, some challenge, some call to adventure in the form of difficulty, some obstacle to overcome. You go to battle, you go on a journey to overcome this obstacle, this challenge. And when you return, oh, difficult task. No, they make it through, okay. When you start to understand the components of your story, the environments, the different characters, the subplots even, you've got it all out in front of you. Now you can start to rewrite it. To go from a story that has you living in fear, out of survival, blocking you from reaching your innate potential, your true self, your dreams, to a story that propels you forward. One, what am I trying to say here? When we start to understand our story, all the different components, the environments, the different characters, the subplots, even when we've got it all out in front of us, we can start to rewrite the story. We can rewrite the story from one that has us living out of fear and survival, just reacting to life, to a story that propels us forward to our innate potential, our true selves, our dreams. To go from saying, I'm unworthy, to I am worthy, to feeling trapped, like you're fighting life, pursuing your dreams, and life just unfolding. And one way we can do this, one way that you've probably heard of, or you're familiar with, whether you realize it or not, is the hero's journey. Luke Skywalker, Spider-Man, even the person who you know or you've heard of who's had a health scare, but during their recovery and after, they've transformed into a different person. Because at its core, the hero's journey is one of transformation and empowerment. And it's a story we can write ourselves, and not just with this moment and going forward, but integrating everything from the past, even especially those dark parts of our past. And you often hear the hero's journey. I mean, there's so many different ways that it's, broken out into steps and all that. But generally speaking, we'll keep it simple here. Typically, you, the unknowing hero, are living a normal life. Just going about your days, just, you know, having a good time. Or from there, there's this call to adventure in the form of a challenge, an obstacle, some difficulty that is in your path you must overcome. And you go and you face this challenge, you find internal and external help, friends and mentors along the way. You persevere. You persevere in the face of this challenge, and you return back to life a different person, transformed. You are no longer the person you once were. Life is no longer as it once was. And I didn't really realize this, but through my own writing, I had no idea the way I wrote, how I was showing up for myself in writing. I was writing my own hero's journey. And it played out very much like the steps I just described. I was living a very normal life, your typical teenage college boy, grades, internships, getting drunk on the weekends, girls, especially girls. So I went into my senior year thinking I had life figured out. I was going to ride off into the sunset, into adulthood, and all would be great. But then came my obstacle. Not necessarily my crush, but what was waiting for me when things didn't work out. So when things didn't work out, I was repeating the story I'd been living by my entire life. One of fear, one of survival, that as I am, I'm unworthy. I'm not enough. Only this time, I was ready for the call, whereas before, I turned it down, I ran away from it. I definitely had help along the way. I had the good old internet to give me a sort of North Star, or at least just a light to follow. I found authors of books like Amir Levine, who wrote Attached, Personal Development School on YouTube, Brene Brown, just to name a few. And with their guidance and their support, eventually I made it through, but we're not done there yet. I made it through with this sense of self I didn't have before, this foundation, a certain confidence, ease, and knowing that I didn't have before. And I brought this into my adult life. When I would graduate college, move from Boston to New York City, and start working on Wall Street. From day one, I was questioning why I was here. And for the months after, it'd be like every day, I'd be at odds with myself, questioning what the fuck am I doing with my life? Quite honestly, having an existential crisis, really going to the darkness. And in that darkness, I had to reflect, I had to peel back so many other layers of conditioning, components to the story that I hadn't worked through the first time around. And I'm simplifying things here. With time, with a whole lot of writing. You should have seen the amount of journals I filled up or things I just wrote on my computer. I came out the other side. I was different. I was transformed. When you transform yourself, you transform life. Because as we've talked about, this story you tell yourself, it's projected out onto everything in life. It creates the life, the reality you live. And in transforming myself, in undergoing this hero's journey, my life was transformed. That's why I'm here talking to you. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here living my dreams, serving my purpose, if it wasn't for this journey I've been on. Because the beautiful thing about the hero's journey is that in transformation, everything, every bit of the process, every high and low, all of the pain, especially the pain, the baggage, the hurt, the moments where you felt unloved and unworthy, they're all given new light. They're brought to the light, and you realize they were all essential in your transformation. You needed to go through all of those difficult experiences, those painful experiences, to be right here, right now, the hero of your own journey. And you're grateful for them. You don't resent or reject them or are bitter towards them like I was in the past. You're grateful because they've made you who you are. You wouldn't be who you are. You wouldn't be here in life in this moment had it not been for those experiences. And you wouldn't want life any other way. You wouldn't want to be anyone other than who you are. And that's a pretty dramatic transformation. It gives your story, it gives your struggle, your challenges purpose and meaning. And maybe I'm generalizing here. When you've gone through that, one of the last steps of the hero's journey is bringing this back to reality and sharing it with others. And that's where I'm at. I'm at that stage of the journey where I'm here talking to you, serving my purpose. So I want to guide you along your own hero's journey, your inner journey. Because I know how difficult it can be, how lonely it can be, how lost you can feel. Like you're in the dark and just fumbling around trying to feel your way through the path. And just as much as you encounter certain mentors and friends during your journey, that's who I aspire to be. So, with that, I Appreciate you taking the time. Grateful for you. And I'll talk to you soon in the next part of our journey together.